What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Wltoys Rides&Reviews. I got a bunch of cheap RCs. My brother just got a house that he's cleaning out, and these were all abandoned, and I'm just going to see if I can mess around, throw some batteries in them, throw some receivers in them, and try to run them around, beat them up, maybe fry the motors in them, or I don't know, just do something stupid with them. These look like toy grade, maybe Walmart. These are definitely New Brights, these two trucks right here. I think they have almost a similar body. This one has a little bit different bumper front end on it. But they're pretty similar size body. This one just has a bunch of wild stuff on it, huge suspension lift. But if you look at it, this thing, it's rock solid. That's just for looks. It doesn't even do anything. That's embarrassing. You can call these RC cars. I was looking at this tank track and I was kind of interested at first, but I might do a build with it still, but there's just no suspension to it. This track has no attraction whatsoever. It has a nickel metal hydride connection, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put the 7.2 volt batteries I got on it, and I have to get a different speed controller for that because I think it has dual motors in there. But let's get this thing out of the way. I'm going to mess with this later, do another build with it. I might even try to put a WPL body on top of one of those. But right now I'm just going to mess with these two trucks. This thing doesn't even have handlebars on it. It looks kind of crappy. Might still do something with that though. I'll go ahead and peel these bodies off of here and see what these things are made of. Alright, so there we got it. We got a little motor right here in the back, some very shisty suspension back here, just clipped onto the body like that. This is pure trash. Here's the ESC in here, and it looks like it's going to be an easy job. Just one screw out the battery tray, and there goes the whole system. So this thing says it's rated for 9.6 volts, so I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, see if I can't hook a battery onto that. So I've got this junk Wltoys receiver. I've had this for about a year now, just sitting on my shelf, and it has extra long cables. I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to cut these wires off and connect them in here. You can see one side is the negative, one side is the positive. I don't know which side it is now. It's upside down right now. But I'm going to get it in there. I'm going to try to solder those wires onto there. So here's the original battery. It's lithium ion. I'm hoping that the LiPo will be okay in there. This is going to be a 2S, so it's going to be 7.4 volts. I'm not sure how the ESC is going to handle it or what it's going to do, but we're going to put it in there and see what happens. As you can see, this is the stock power box, and then I've got the power lines modified. I've hooked them into the positive and negative there, and I'm going to go ahead and hook up my LiPo and see if this doesn't work. I have the original controller for this one, so I'm going to see if it works with this. So there it is with the power unit back in there, the ESC or whatever you want to call it, the 3-in-1. The main reason I did this is because I don't really want to mess with the servo on this one too much. And since the front of this vehicle is actually totally solid, these shocks are actually just for look. I think I'm going to take one of these off and replace the one that's missing on this other side. It's only half a shock there. Alright, I'll put some batteries in the remote. I don't know if this is going to work. I had to wash all these trucks off. They came from well, not abandoned, but a pretty dirty house, and almost abandoned. And it had to be cleaned off, it had to be washed off, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. I had to get it wet. I had no choice, but let's give it a shot and see what happens. I'm going to try to turn it on while the camera's on. Alright, here goes nothing. Didn't make any sounds. Got power in the remote, the light coming on, but nothing's happening. So 2S didn't work, didn't want to seem to do anything, so what the heck, let's try 3S. Well, I did just order some more receivers, so I guess I'm going to have to throw some hobby grade stuff in here to bring some life to this thing. Alright, so scratching my original plan, I had to go ahead and take the front of the truck completely apart. Here's the steering linkage, and here's the front bumper where everything was kind of assembled inside of it. I had to do a little bit of cutting, and I went ahead and mounted a Wltoys 5-wire servo in here. I'm going to do the all-in-one setup from the Wltoys. I have a new servo. I had an old broken one, but I also have a new one to replace it. I put that in there. I had to do a little bit of trimming, cut that box out, and a little bit of trim in there. Hopefully I can get hooked into the steering linkage inside this little crack. Here's my new ESC. So I've got the front axle reinstalled. I had to do a little bit of trimming on the body, not that much, and the servo was able to slide right up in there. Also, I've started to put the front bumper on because that's part of the attachment, and I decided to do a little bit of trimming to this too. This thing is just ridiculous. I'm just going to leave it as like a little skid plate underneath the front of it, and maybe this little front bumper with the light set up. That'll be it. So there's a servo down in there. It fit in pretty well. I didn't have to do too much trimming. This is where the original housing was. I had to open it up to the same height as that. Alright, so it's a new day. I've got the Raptor all back together. It's not very fast. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. I'm going to cut it on and we'll do a little test run. There isn't much power in reverse. I think it's because this thing was used to 9.6 volt. I think it would actually be a little bit faster. I might try to step it up to 3S, but I would have to change out my servo and everything. I think my next build is gonna have to be 3S. It's just not fast enough. Well, if you like this video, hit me up. Please subscribe, give me a like. I know this is not the best RC car in the world, but I just rebuilt this because I wanted to give my son something fun to play with. So I went in and brought one of these things back to life. He can run this thing around, play with it a little more. It looks really cool with a good body on there. It has a decent looking bumper now. And the tires look great. It's a good looking truck. It's very cheap, I understand, but hey, this is for my boy to have a little good time with it. And that's all that matters. Alright, till next time guys, take it easy.